All right, welcome back to PC Building Simulator. Welcome back to the NZXT workshop. We have not been here in a while, but I wanted to be here because it's nicely lit and things are easy to see. Some of you guys find it a little too sterile. I can see that, but we're gonna come back here. We're gonna throw it back to the NZXT workshop because we're I don't know how that's relevant, but we're doing it anyway. Today I'm going to rebuild my personal computer in the game. Actually, I think I've done this. I've built it once, and I can link to that video if you guys want to check it out. It's a long time ago. Please don't judge me. It was old. I wasn't as good at YouTube. I'm not that good now, but I wasn't as good as I am now, which isn't saying much because I'm not very good now. Anyway, yeah, I've already done this once. Right? I've built my computer in PC Building Simulator as close as I could to building it. It's hard. There isn't perfect like part parity by any stretch of the imagination. But now that I have an RTX 3080, a Founders Edition, and it's actually in the game, it was a perfect time to rebuild it. There's actually like one other change that's happened since then, so we can talk about that too. It's actually kind of funny. So let's just jump in. The case has not changed. I am still rocking an NZXT S340 non-elite. That's right. The non-elite, because I am not elite. And this is the one yep, this one right here. The S340 black and blue non-elite. I've got the, not a tempered glass side panel, but a very sad, like, plastic side panel. It's honestly okay. A case is on the list of things that I would like to upgrade, mostly because it's not like the best airflow case. You get the two fans on the front, you get a single up top and one out the back. So it's not like an amazing airflow case by any means. You've got enough of a panel gap here to do okay. I've got the fans in the front or intake. We'll talk about that too. But it's not great. It's not a great airflow case. Like, I wouldn't recommend it or the S340. Or really, honestly, NZXT isn't super great at airflow. It's cool aesthetics. Not great airflow. So the cable management is cool because of the little cable management panel thing. It's cool. I like it. It's awesome. I liked how it looked. I still like how it looks. But yeah, not the best airflow ever. And as parts get hotter and hotter and more power demanding, yeah, it starts to become more of an issue. But anyway, that's what I've got right now. So I've actually didn't get a top fan. Oh wait. No, I did get a top fan in mine, but it was just a 120. I've upgraded that fan actually up top. I don't know why I'm starting with fans, but we're going to do it anyway. I've upgraded the top fan to a 140 fan from Corsair. They don't really have what I would have in here. It's one of their very like standard fans, but you can change out the rings to be white, red, or blue. I've changed it out to be blue to match the blue thing. It's not RGB or anything. So I guess I'll just put a 120 up here, or 140 up here. It's basically that, but it has a blue ring, but it does have white fan blades. I'm like looking at my computer right now, like, right? It does, right? Yeah, like, yeah, that's what it looks like, but it has like a blue ring. It's not that cool. It's fine. Okay, motherboard. Now, we don't have my motherboard in the game, but I guess what would be similar to my motherboard would be here. So this is the STRIX Z370E. I'm on 7th gen Intel, so I'm on the 270 series. But this is what I have. Basically, the Asus ROG STRIX. ROG? Oh, what did I say there? ROG STRIX. I have the Z270E gaming. So the previous generation of this. Sadly, it's not in the game, but I wanted to give you an idea of what it would look like. Sort of. I actually think it looks better than this. It kind of looks like this X299 board with the darker IO shroud and everything's got more of the gunmetal color. It's not silver. I think it looks cool. It actually still looks really good to me. But yeah, so what do we have though on the Z270 front? Not a ton. Really not a ton. I think when I built my computer, the first time I used the For the Win K, which is not a cheap board, but I'm going to use the Z270X Gaming 8 from Gigabyte. It's maybe a little bit closer because it's got a little bit of RGB on it, which my board does. It doesn't have quite this much. Like the RAM slots aren't lit up. The edge of the motherboard isn't lit up, but I don't know. It looks cool. So we're going to go with that. But yeah, I have the STRIX 270E gaming, and you know, it's fine. I don't know, it's been good. My big issue with it is I don't know if when I first put my CPU cooler on it, if I torqued it too tight or what, but ever since I had to take it off, and I'll explain why I had to take that off, I can't run the RAM in dual channel mode. It will not post in dual channel. The only way I can get it to post is in slots 1 and 2, A1 and A2, I think. A1, B2. Yeah, I think, or A1, B1, B2. I think it's right. A1 and A2. So basically 1 and 2. It's the only way I can get it to post. So that's a super bummer because I don't get to run my own dual channel, which is a bummer. So, okay, but anyway, keep going. So, CPU, I've got a 7700K, i7-7700K, 4-core, 8-thread. You know, it's not bad. It works. It's okay. Like, it's definitely feeling the hurt with the 3080, especially in some titles. It's definitely game dependent. Sometimes it does fine. It just depends if the game's tends to be more GPU bound or CPU bound too. But it's definitely a big point of like, I want to upgrade that for sure. So let's go to memory quick. And I have G.SKILL Ripjaws V, 3000 megahertz. Do they have that? No, they don't have 3000. They don't have it that slow. Well, they do in blue. That's Ripjaws 4 though. I have Ripjaws V, Ripjaws V. I think that's 5. I don't know how it works. In black. Oh wait, they have 28. Oh wait, no, that's different. Yeah, Ripjaws 4. Okay, well, we'll just pretend it's this. It's basically, it's this, except mine's only 3000 megahertz instead of 3200. And yeah, like I said, right now, and even though I've explained this, I know I'm still going to get a bunch of comments that are like, bro, your RAM's not in dual channel, man. What are you doing? I know. I understand that. Like, I am super aware. I know. It is not in dual channel. You are correct. Like, I acknowledge this problem. I have tried a million times to get it to post in dual channel, and it won't. It used to. But I had to remove the CPU cooler, and the reason I had to remove the CPU cooler, so I had a 100i V2, which is not in here, but basically it looks like this. This is the H80i V2. It's just like this, only it's a 240 rad. That's what the block looks like. That's what I had. That was the original CPU cooler I put on it, right? Everything was fine. I've mentioned this under another couple other videos too. One day I was playing Grand Theft Auto online with some friends, and all of a sudden I was like, holy cow, my computer's howling because the pump had died. And so I had to send it back into Corsair, and I waited a while, and I had a Evo Hyper 212 on there for a while, which like, really, 212? No? There's just one of these in the game. They just added one. They just added a cool looking one. What? Don't make me feel crazy, game. Don't make me feel crazy. What is Cooler Master? What? What? Didn't they have this in the game? Does it not fit? Why would it not fit? Really? That doesn't fit? LG A1151. That fits. Okay, maybe it doesn't clear the RAM or something. Sorry. I had this on there for a while, the Hyper 212. Is that the only one there is? No. So like, I had this one. It's not even the LED. Well, no, this is exactly the one I had on it. I bought it off someone locally for like 15 bucks new. And yeah, so I ran that for a while. Once I got my cooler back from Corsair, they at least, you know, upgraded me. So yeah, it's pretty much this. It's not the Pro XT though. It's the H100i RGB, and it might even be like RGB Platinum. It looks like this more. It has like the silver, but it's a 240 rad. Boy, there really is like not a perfect option. We're just gonna say this. Corsair makes a ton of coolers that are so similar. It's kind of wild. But I've got it set up like this. So it pretty much looks like that. The outside of the block's a little different, but yeah, generally that's what it looks like. It's got black tubing. It's just got regular white non-RGB fans. It's a 240 rad. Yeah, it looks like that. So that's what we have now. And it's definitely better than the H100i V2 for sure. It's way quieter. And I don't have it oriented like this. I have it flipped because Gamers Nexus told me that that's what I should do, and it does make sense because that way the air would stick in this end, the end that's at the top of the loop, and so you wouldn't be pulling any air bubbles into your block at all. So I have it flipped around because that's really the best way to install it. Don't argue with me. Don't tell me that's not right because it is right. I am 100% sure. Don't argue with me, please. All right, cool. I guess we could go ahead and throw a power supply. We've got the RM850X from Corsair. Is that in the game? I think it is. Yeah, this is exactly what I have, the RM850X. So it's good. And at the time I was like, oh man, this is a lot of power supply. But I was like, well, we're just going to future-proof it, right? And now that I have a 3080 and potentially we'll be upgrading to something, you know, a different CPU, it's going to be a little more power hungry. I feel pretty good about the 850 watt. I'm glad we're over 750. I'm glad we're at least at 750. So it's been good. It's been totally fine. Can't complain. It's power supply. It does its job. It's fine. It's great. It's fully modular. Can't complain. It's pretty good. All right. Let's see. I was just like, oh crap, does this not have, how many M.2 slots does this board have? Oh boy. I did not consider this. Okay, we've got enough. Good. All right, they're oriented a little different on my board, but so what I've got as far as storage goes, I've got 2 M.2 drives in there. My main C drive is a Samsung, which is definitely not in the game, a Samsung 860 EVO M.2, and that's a SATA drive. So it's slower. It's only like 550 megabytes. No, megabytes per second. You know, so it's actually probably like slower than everything in here, because I think all of these are probably at least NVME. Well, yeah. It's like the slowest drive. That's funny. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, it's been fine. Like, it's my main C drive. I can't say it really slows anything down, though I do think if I rebuild this computer, like if we do a CPU motherboard upgrade, we might do some changing around of storage stuff. We will see. Okay, I don't know what the slowest is like. Whatever. This. But yeah, it's a 256 gig, so I've got that one actually down here. It's over here on the STRIX board, but it doesn't really matter. So that's my main C drive. So my other M.2 drive I have is Samsung's 960 EVO Plus M.2. That is an NVMe drive. It's got about a 3,500 megabytes per second transfer rate, so it is much, much, much more capable. It's very good. I like it quite a bit. We could throw a... Wow, that Corsair is so fast. Wow, it's weird the 512 was 3,800 and then the 1 terabyte's 4,600. Okay, never mind. That's not going to be quite right. I mean, again, we're not going to get perfect here, but we could get close-ish. Patriot Vibrate, 3,200 megabytes per second. That's fine. Mine's 3,500, whatever. It doesn't have a cool heatsink. It doesn't look fancy like that. But yeah, so that's a 1 terabyte M.2 I have, and I basically do all my video stuff on that. Having a really fast scratch drive has been super helpful for doing video editing. But like I said, this stuff might change around. Like if I reinstall, potentially do a motherboard CPU upgrade, if the 3900X would, or if the 5900X would ever be something I could actually buy, because they're impossible to buy right now, I could upgrade. But we'll see. Maybe someday. Someday, maybe. And then as we keep going with storage, I just got a couple basic hard drives around back. Just some pretty simple 1 terabyte. They're actually Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte. They're 7,200 RPM, and they're back here. And so there you go. So I've got basically 1, 2, 3 terabytes, 3.25 terabytes of storage, and it's fine. I should have just got bigger hard drives instead of buying 2 1 terabytes. I should have bought like at least a couple 2 terabytes, or like maybe just a 4 terabyte and just call it. I don't know, but it's fine. It works. It works fine. So these are open. I'm not using these M.2 or these 2.5 inch SSD bays. We're not using those at all. And yeah, this is pretty much how it looks. And then obviously, a big part of the reason we're doing this video is now I've been lucky enough to secure an RTX 3080. And the Founders Edition specifically, I looked a lot at buying like the EVGA cards and all this stuff, but the Founders was one I really wanted, but it's also the one that I was just actually able to get because I was quick enough. And yeah, it looks like that. And yes, it does have this dorky cable, though, like the ribbing on these is extra weird looking. It doesn't look like that, but yeah, it is like a dorky little extendo thing. And I know some people like really, really hate it. I don't actually mind it as much as I thought I would. It's maybe a little bit longer, and I just sort of don't even think about it. I don't know. It's not great. I don't get why NVIDIA did it, but like, it's also not the biggest deal in the world. And then yeah, I ran two separate power cables to this because you're supposed to. Actually, looks like what the game did. Good job, game. So yeah, that is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And it actually turns on just like mine. It's got a lot more RGB than mine, though. That's for sure. Okay, so we can get this booted up and see if we can get some stuff installed. Now, I forgot to mention, I have my 7700K, the CPU of it overclocked to 5 gigahertz, up from 4.5 stock, I think. So that has helped quite a bit with the bottleneck and whatnot. I mean, sort of. At least it's kind of helped. I don't know. So maybe I'll see if I can overclock it. I have the GPU pretty stock. I've toyed with undervolting a lot, but then like if you play a game with ray tracing, then it's like you have to basically create a different undervolt because it gets... Anyway, there's, you know, more cores and whatever. But I don't know. We'll just like play with seeing if we can like get it to overclock to 5 gigahertz in the CPU. I don't know how hard that is in the game. It's not hard in real life. It's super, super rock solid. So I might try to do that, and then we'll see how we do. In the BIOS here, I've got the RAM set to 3200 megahertz, the XMP setting. Mine's only 3000, but still pretty similar. So as far as the CPU overclock goes, on my computer, I basically just push the multiplier to 50, and then I don't even remember what I did with the voltage. It's been a little while since I've done it. Let's just take it up to 1.5 volts and see how this goes. It could be bad. All right, let's just... Oh, I can tell you this is not going to go well. My CPU does not idle at 87C. So it's a good example of like how there's just not a lot of consistency between this game and like real world performance experience. Like this is going to blue screen instantly. Just watch. Just watch. As soon as we hit second 5, blue screen. And there it is. Okay, barely early, but yeah. Mine's not like that. Like it's fine. I mean, I'm at 53C right now. Like it's fine. I'm playing and so like yeah, that's not my experience. That's just sort of a thing with the game. It's just you're not gonna get... You can't overclock in the game like you can't. Like I'm idling at 87C. That is crazy. I can't hit 87C on mine full bore. It's just too bad because I'd love to be able to crank it to 5 gigahertz like I do in real life, but apparently I can't do it. And 5 gigahertz in a 7700K is not... It's not crazy. Like 5.1 is pretty solid. 5.2 is like really good. I haven't really tried to go a lot over 5 because it's just been so solid. I'm like, the reliability is kind of great. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just turn this down to like 4.7 or something. You'd hope it could hold 4.7. Okay, that's more of like an idle temp that I would see. 55. That's still a little warm, probably. Yeah, it's still a little warm, but we're at least stable. Yeah, I don't know if I could go much higher. I think if I went one multiplier higher, I'd probably get too hot there. We are not thermal throttled though. That's super good. So okay. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna run this through 3D Mark. You guys can see how gross the CPU bottleneck's gonna look on a benchmark. In my experience, though, I mean, it's significant, I guess. Actually, before we do that, though, let's talk about peripherals a little bit. My peripherals are not in the game. My keyboard is a Logitech G610 Orion with Cherry MX Reds. So, I don't know, it kind of looks like this, sort of. It's not RGB, it's just white LED, and it's fine. I'm cool with it. And then mouse, the Logitech G502, because come on, it's the best mouse ever. Am I right? Yes, I'm right, because it's the best. It's so good. Wow, there are just all course. Oh, it's because wow, that's embarrassing. Maybe we could check out one of the newer mice from SteelSeries. It doesn't really look like my mouse. I don't know. It's a G502. It kind of looks like this. It's not wireless, but... And then as far as monitors go, my main monitor, I've switched back to doing 1440p. I'd been doing 4K for a long time because it kind of helps the CPU bottleneck, but I need higher refresh rate than 60. So my main monitor is a Dell S2716DGR. That's a 27-inch, 144 hertz G-Sync 1440p, and it's a TN panel, which I know a lot of people are pretty hard on for good reason. It definitely has some faults, but in general, I actually think it's pretty good. It works pretty well. And then my secondary monitor is an LG 27U D58P-B, which is like a special Newegg version that had a way cooler stand. But it's 27-inch, 60 hertz, 4K, IPS. It's a super good productivity monitor. I use it for work at home all the time. It's super great, and it's a great secondary monitor. So I'm just going to put this Asus ROG monitor that's much nicer than mine. It's probably like at least IPS. At the very, check out the viewing angles. Stupid, it's a game. Okay, but yeah, so that's kind of like the setup. Oh, and I guess I have a Fifine K678 mic that they gave me. That was super cool of them. Thank you for that. I actually don't have a mouse mat right now because I'm using a Veridesk at home and I can't fit one. It's really sad. I have one, but it doesn't fit on this. It doesn't make sense. So it's one of those just like super chonkster mats. They don't have like jumbo mats in this game. No, they do, don't they? Am I crazy? I don't know. This looks nice. That's not what mine looks like, but we can just pretend. I guess as far as the RGB goes, I really don't have very much RGB, first of all. Call me boring. It just gets a little gaudy, and it's pretty much just like white because I wanted everything to match the RTX card, which you can't customize this light. You can customize the LED up here. Wow, actually they don't have that rendered in the game. That's interesting. This little strip right here on the 3080 and the 3090, the Founders cards, I don't know about 3070, 3060, how theirs work. They're different. But it lights up. It's white by default, but you can actually change this. Like you can do it in EVGA's Precision X1, is that what it's called? And then you can do it in Corsair's IQ software now, I think. But yeah, it's just white. It's white. Everything's white, and then the block is white, and I don't really have anything else lit up. Like my motherboard doesn't light up that much. It's just, yeah, just a couple lights like on the IO shroud, and I'm like looking at it. Hello. Yeah, no, it's not. There's not a lot of RGB. So that's what my computer looks like. I'm gonna benchmark it quick, and then you guys can see. We can see the sadness that's going to be this 3D Mark score. It's just going to happen. All right, I got all the panels put back on. We got our 3D Mark test done here for an 11,950, and that's 14,685 on the GPU, and on the CPU, 5,815. Yeah, it's just killing our 3D Mark score just a little bit. To give you some sort of comparison, I guess, 5,815 for a 7700K. Let's check out Intel's newest 700K. What am I saying? i7? Yes, i7. This is the 10700K, 11,480. Yeah, so like twice the score, basically. And then we can look at AMD's top of the line here. This is the 5950X, getting us a 13,900, and also I think I'm at 3950X over here, 12,245. So yeah, the CPU is hurting me a lot in this benchmark, and I would say in real life games, sometimes it is definitely a big problem, especially 1440p. It just depends. Like I've been playing Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk actually like is pretty balanced between the CPU and GPU for the most part. I still think the game needs a little optimization, but utilization's fairly matched up. I'm trying to think what other games I've been playing where like the GPU's just chilling and the CPU's just screaming, just crying, and completely holding back the frames. But yeah, it's hopefully something I can rectify soon. I've got my eye on a 5900X, and the motherboard part of that's easy. It's the 5900X. It's just impossible to buy because you can't get them anywhere. You can't actually find them anywhere. But that's my plan, is to upgrade it with that. But this is what my computer looks like right now for the most part. The motherboard's different, but otherwise it looks pretty darn close. And I guess I'll go ahead and link down to the video I did when I got my 3080. It's my only like real life video where you can see my real computer. So if you want to see it, you can see it a little bit, you know, see the shoddy camera work or whatever. But anyway, you can check that out. And I'll also link to the original build I did when I built my own computer in PC Building Simulator. But hopefully I get to come back sometime soon and rebuild this with a much more capable CPU. We'll see, hopefully. But there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did enjoy and you want to see more videos of PC Building Simulator or any of the other games I've been playing, be sure to subscribe. And either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. See ya.